Welcome to Bell Brothers Brewing, engineers talking about beers.
And today we're doing It Michelada. Aww.
You're gonna ask, what did we mix? How did we do this? So our Michelada mix is Clamato with 12 ounces of Clamato to 1 tablespoon of lime juice and half a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. And then we're mixing that 50-50 with beer.
Yeah, alright, so this initial idea was a haha funnies on our theme sets, and I was throwing them out there and I was like, we'll do Willets, isn't that funny? And this is one of the very crazy ideas of the mixers. And then the wife was like, that's a great idea, this is going to make really great content. And both of us are like, I don't want to do this. One, because I know I'm not a huge fan of tomato juice.
I don't do Bloody Marys at all, and this is pretty much just a Bloody Mary, but with a beer in it.
Yeah, so...
And then we're going to go and say, screw it to the beers that you would usually put in there, and put in a whole bunch of weird stuff.
And we've got Copper Kettle Mexican-style chocolate stout. It didn't do so well with the Willet Beer Mosa.
Not great with Beer Mosa.
Maybe the Michelada will give us something...
This is probably going to be the first time that one gets a below 5 score. I do not see tomato juice and salty and tangy going with Mexican chocolate.
I don't see tomato juice going with a lot of stuff. But I think, so we're going to get a really interesting kind of feel where, like you're talking about, we get like, there's lime in there. Mm-hmm. The tomato kind of gives a citrusy kind of.
You got a
like
citrusy, you got some earthy, some a little bit smoky because of the Worcestershire.
Yeah, so I think there's going to be drawn out like a lot of flavors. So as bad as it may be, we may taste something a little bit different.
It could be interesting.
It's thick, so maybe a little more body.
Probably, because it's kind of like a slightly watery ketchup.
So here I am trying to put a bright line around the edges.
Silver lining on the dark cloud.
Silver lining on the dark cloud. We're going to give it a whack here. First up, we're going to will it Asahi. Are you ready to get into this? Are you ready?
No.
No.
Not ready. I'm not prepared.
Sometimes the beer videos, the Willets across the board are so much fun. I'm looking forward to them. Like the beer mosas were good and great. This one I've been dreading for like a week straight.
Definitely not looking forward to this, but let's do this.
Let's get into it. So first up, we've got Asahi's Lager, International
really
Lager.
Work against the red here.
It does it, right? It kind of blends. It's immediately blended in.
There you can see it. It's a little. Looks like ruby red grapefruit juice. Really?
Yeah.
It looks
there
like
you go.
fresh.
I'm gonna put that in my head. Ruby red grapefruit juice.
It's gonna ruin the taste when you taste it.
Nope, doesn't smell good either. That's not good.
Smells like spicy or spiced, not spicy, spiced and pickly. It's kind of pickly.
A little pickly. I don't know. I'm thinking like ramen, like tomato soup. It's like a tomato soup.
Yeah, it's kind of like Campbell's tomato soup.
Campbell's
surprise,
tomato
surprise!
soup.
We put tomato juice in it. It smells like tomato soup. What are you tasting?
So there's like a bright tingle. Oh. Aftertaste leaves a little bit to desire.
Yeah, that's salty.
Yeah, so there's an initial carbonic bite on the tongue, like really kind of like bitey, tingly, kind of out, almost off-putting. But it goes down reasonably smooth. I think the middle of this one's not so bad. Like the original, like
the first sip, it's like, oh, this is kind of refreshing. It's a little light.
Yeah,
it's bubbly, and then it's like salty pickles, really strong. Like salty pickles and celery, really strong right in the end there. Just punch you right in the dick.
Yeah. There's definitely some vegetable going on in there. Is it better individually at some of the parts?
No, this is worse than Asahi by far. I'd rather take a plain Asahi than do this to it.
I don't think that's a fair discussion as far as any part of this, right? Because
because you already don't like the
Clamato is already like a negative, right? Mm-hmm. So honestly, I think we have to judge this, right? If we're gonna go to the beer for each one of these,
is it drinkable?
Well, it's more like, does it make the Clamato juice
more
better
palatable
or worse? Yeah, like can we drink that by itself, right? Or like, is there interesting flavors? Is there something that would draw you back to? Because you got to put yourself in the head of the nut job who likes Bloody Marys, right? And then decide from that perspective, does this taste better or worse
than the base
overall, than like the base?
If I liked Bloody Marys, I would guess this is probably like a 6, maybe a 7. It's not, like, as someone who doesn't even like Bloody Marys, it's okay. It's not horrible.
I keep going back to it because for some reason my body thinks, we should be going back and like.
You gotta keep sipping to keep reminding yourself that it's not good.
It's still not good. It's still not good. I agree. I would say that. Oh no, you know what? I don't agree. I'm gonna put this one. I think it's a 4 because honestly, I don't think the beer is interesting enough, sparkling enough, aromatic. I don't think it enhances it well enough. I think there's better mixers. I have hope for a better Michelada out there. I don't think this is good enough to be worthwhile. Don't mix your Asahi with it.
I think I'll agree with you there. Maybe it'll bring my score down because yes, there's probably a lot better.
I think there's better ones out here. This just doesn't bring enough interest.
So will Asahi Michelada?
No.
All right. So next up we have I Disfruit from Horse and Dragon Brewery.
Disfruit.
There is Disfruit in there. Again, grapefruit juicy.
Yeah, I think it lighted up a little darker because there's a little like the what is in I Disfruit?
It is a pineapple ginger lager.
Okay, so we're supposed to be picking up some fruitiness, maybe a little bit of color to it.
It's not a particularly dark lager. It's more of it's darker than an Asahi, but it's still a pale gold. Pale straw gold.
There's like a funky fruitiness, there's a little sweetness going on in there. I'm picking up some of the pineapple in the aromas.
Yeah, that's weird. It's
like a tomato pineapple.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think we're gonna get a base of Campbell's tomato soup can for all of these with a hint of something else.
Oh, oh, the taste buds are really confused.
Ooh.
It's all over the place.
No.
It's you get like sweet pineapple, and then it shifts into like semi-sweet, salty
tomato, and then celery,
and then you like back into the fruitiness because like it keeps bouncing back. You taste
ginger at the end.
It's confusing. It's confusing all over.
Yeah, no, that. Put it this way, the base beer for this one I like. It's got a few small issues, but overall I like it a fair amount. This.
All right, so go back and taste it a couple of times, right? From the perspective of a drinker of the hell is that damn thing called?
Bloody Mary.
This is gonna be a long fucking day. All right, from the Bloody Mary drinker perspective, do you think this adds interest or distracts? Subtracts? Detracts? Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
Curtis can't work
Start over again.
Does this add, improve, enhance your Bloody Mary, or does this detract from your Bloody Mary?
I'm gonna go with detract because up front this tastes like beefy ramen, and then goes into funky pineapple with ketchup on it.
No, you're right. Yeah, beefy ramen. That's the flavor. Yep, it's beefy ramen.
It's beefy ramen and then ketchup pineapple. Yeah. It is not good.
That's a funky mix there. That's why it goes out. I knew there was a similar flavor.
It's the salty, earthy of a beefy ramen, and then
that's what it is.
Ketchup on a pineapple. Let's go to the beer. I give it a 2. It's bad.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this is an enhancement by any stretch.
It made both things worse.
Yeah, a 1. Like it's worse than the other one. Like
I would drink the base mix first. Like I would drink the Clamato with some other stuff by itself before I drink this.
Yeah, I think that by itself is good. The other one's by itself is good. This one negative. It's not good by like together.
Nope.
That's not okay with me.
Beefy ramen and ketchup pineapple.
Yeah,
does not work.
No, like even the Asahi was like
something.
Like it didn't enhance it, but it didn't like hurt.
Didn't actively make it worse. Yeah. So it will not Michelada. Don't do it.
Bah, bah. Strawberry Skye by Breckenridge Brewing Company. And honestly, the aromatics on this, I could pick up
smell the strawberry
from back here.
Yeah. I smell strawberry, but I also smell hints of salty ketchup. So.
Well, maybe just that it's in the environment.
It's in the environment.
The aromatics, I tell you, man, even when you get into it, like there's a little bit of a hint, but like even if you get like really deep,
it's weird.
It's not as strong.
It's not. It's very strawberry and a hint of salt.
It's still not good, but it's not good as that last one.
The smell though, like when you smell it and you smell that sweet strawberry, you're like, I'm in for some strawberry, and it's just ketchup the whole way.
It sets an expectation that's not there. It's not backed up.
The strawberry just gets murdered. It just,
You murdered
the
strawberry.
ketchup just came in there and was like, "Screw you, strawberry. This is my story."
there's just red pulp everywhere.
Like this
Big
is like
bloodbath.
somebody took a big jug of ketchup, added like 3 strawberries to it, blended it up, and was like, "Boom, strawberry ketchup."
Yeah. Yeah,
It's just.
there's like a strawberry sweetness flavor that kind of like very in the background, kind of
Yeah.
like there was a hint that it was there. Mm-hmm. The aromatics really pumped the body to be like, hey, this is gonna be like super sweet strawberry, amazing because of how strong that is.
Yeah.
And then the flavor, just the salty,
Tomatoey, salty.
it is
vinegar.
not. I don't think it necessarily tastes horrible. I think it just sets an expectation that makes it bad.
And I'm not loving the over notes of sweet strawberry with tomatoey, salty vinegar underneath.
Are you not digging that?
No, not loving. I don't really. I know I'm all for complexity when the things work together, but in this case, they aren't combining to work together. They're just kind of both there.
I keep going back. I should know better. This should be like a one and done sippies, but I keep going in. I agree. All right, so let's go to the beer. I'm gonna give this one 3.
I'm gonna go 4. It's nowhere near as bad
Nope.
as something else, but it's definitely they aren't working together. They're
No.
detracting from each other by far here.
No, I'm not feeling this one yet.
You got one side going, "Hey, look, a strawberry," and the other side's like, "No, ketchup."
Tomato, not ketchup. Tomato.
So will it Michelada?
No, well, not Michelada. No,
Strawberry Skye does not Michelada.
I know it is ketchup because it's tomato with salt and vinegar, which is ketchup.
This time around, we've got Colorado Native Amber Ale. I have more hope for the amber because it's got a little bit more body to it. It's not trying to go funky fruits or something like. Hopefully, we got
A
something
little
else
less
going
flavors.
on. Visually, not appealing. Honestly, there's like murky,
Extra
kind
murky
of-
grapefruit juice.
Yeah, there's like it's an off-putting something rather going on there. I'm not pleased with that. What do we got?
Pretty much just smells like the Clamato mix. I'm not really smelling.
There's a little bit of like a carbonic kind of.
I don't know. I'm not smelling that at all.
No, you're not
I don't
smelling-
smell the beer in this at all. I just
Really?
got the. Totally just smelling the other side.
I pick up just a little bit of maltiness, just a little bit. There's not a lot, but a little bit.
Yeah, maybe my nose is just more attenuated to the tomatoey,
The
salty.
tomatoes, yeah, you just really
That's
tuned
all
into
I'm smelling is the tomatoey salty here.
What are you tasting?
It was very similar to the Asahi. Finish is a little different. It almost finishes beery, but it's very similar in the. Just sort of makes it a bubbly tomato juice.
I think the beer, yeah, like you said, it adds. There's a little bit more texture or flavor to it.
Yeah, it's definitely thicker.
I think this one's, I would say, almost a little better than the Asahi because there's like a little thickness. Like you're not. The malt maybe kind of helps to pump it up a little bit. There's not like a distinct flavor.
No,
Like in the
There's a hint
the
of-
beer is lost.
there's a hint of bitter,
Yeah.
like a carbony bitterness. It's not a hoppy bitter. Obviously, it's an amber ale, so there's not much
Right.
hop here. I think the carbonation is creating like a carbonic bite if you just sort of let it linger on your tongue for a little bit.
You can tell that there's beer.
Yeah,
Right? It's like this is the first one where I can tell that there's beer, but I'm not unhappy that there's beer.
Because the first one, the Asahi, kind of tasted like someone poured mineral water in it.
There you go. Yeah, like seltzer
Just
water.
like sparkly water added to the base.
This one was like, oh, there's beer in here. Like that's what you're doing. So that's a decent mix to that. You know, the fact that we're both not like immediately trying to spit this out, I would say is probably a sign.
It's a good sign. It's
Right.
not absolutely disgusting.
So let's go to the beer. I'm gonna take this one. Strangely enough, 6.
I'm gonna go 5.
You're truly neutral
It's
on that?
neutral.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. I can sip it. It tastes okay.
Yeah.
The bubbliness kind of helps with the texture.
I think the
but
beer enhances a little bit more than like what you would normally think. So I'm thinking, yeah, there's a little bit more of enhancement. It's not. I mean, we keep sipping it, right? It's not that horrible. So you know.
I just don't know if it's really combining to make something greater. It's more or less just they're working together, and it's better than the base.
So will Colorado Natives Amber Michelada?
almost.
Just barely.
Just barely.
Just barely
It's
Micheladas.
Almost Micheladas.
If you really like Bloody Marys and all you have is this around and don't have vodka, it'll work. now we've got Red Leg's Sun Dipped Double Dry Hop Pale Ale.
Man, that's a mouthful.
Yes, it is.
And we've had this one in the Beer Mosa? No.
No.
What did we drink this
It was
one?
the beer review.
It was the beer
We
review.
did the beer
That's
review,
right.
and then we did I put lime juice in it for a
And
live.
then we lime juiced it. Yes.
So maybe the lime juice that's in this will help?
Hey, I don't know. Maybe it can make it better. So as you can tell, the color, basically that same disgusting red. I'm not happy with that.
I'm getting some hop notes, tropical fruity hop notes, maybe a hint of the lime juice, and then
Floral?
tomatoey.
Are you picking up like a floral, like a lavender kind of floral aroma off the top of that? I don't know.
Nah, that
Flower?
reminds me of like a gentle little. It smells like fruity sweetness, not lavender or floral to me.
Really? No.
I think maybe I'm accounting for the base beer, because the base beer has a very tropical, fruity sort of nose.
I agree. Yeah, the base beer is tropical. I'm picking up like a lavender.
Not with you there, but I'm not saying you're wrong.
Maybe it's just complex.
It is complex, and then obviously the tomato soup can smell. Nothing's gonna get away from that one.
That
describes
is an
it pretty well.
experience. That is an experience all of itself right there.
That is some funk.
I had hope for the IPAs.
Yeah, I did.
I wanted the pale ales and the bitters to like do us some service here. You know, because like we did the Willet. What was the one that really helped out the IPAs? The crazy. The
lime
Radlers.
lemonade. Yeah, the
Yeah,
lemonade
Radlers.
was really good.
The Willet Radler really helped out the IPAs. I mean, it was just something really cool and experience. I was like, okay, maybe the IPA friends have got us something else again. Oh,
Yeah, I'm still trying to think about how to describe that flavor, because it's tomato and bitter and salty and earthy. And
it gives you the willies from one end.
It lingers on your tongue,
and the
and the finish is this vegetable bitter flavor. Like right at the end, it's just like vegetable bitterness.
The floral kind of lavender that I'm tasting is kind of like you're getting that same. I'm picking up some of those same floral herbal, kind of like black pepper, that kind of flows into some of the tomato. But yeah, then it starts going off on these like wild tangents. It doesn't mix well. I'm not okay with that.
No, I'm not sure it's quite as bad as the disc fruit, but it's a close second. That's not a good one.
So let's go to the beer. Solid 2.
Yeah, 2, 3, somewhere in there. That's
That's not Red Leg's fault. That's just tomato juice's fault.
Tomato juice and
I think
tropical hop.
Even
Just
from
no.
even from a Bloody Mary
drinker perspective.
I don't think that's what you want to do with it.
No, the finish is so bad. Like the last taste on your tongue is this herbal vegetable bitterness that's just very unpleasant.
Yeah, the pale ale bitterness, the hoppy bitterness really pumps up that very ending kind of bite. And I think that's exactly opposite of what you want in any of that.
I was kind of hoping that maybe because it was tropical, it would bring out the lime juice and some of the citrusy flavors. It didn't.
Nope.
Let's go to the next one.
No. So, will Red Leg Sun Dipped Michelada?
No.
Ooh, not even close. No, it won't.
No. So, next up we have the Stone Delicious IPA.
Delicious. Visual, same.
Not delicious. Smell is not delicious. Smell is very much just tomato soup.
It's tomato, man. It's really hard to get rid of that.
It's really hard to fight that tomato.
I didn't think the Clamato was gonna like hurt that hard, but man, it's
just completely dominant. Like that is, it dominates every other aromatic compound we've had. It's just been tomato. I'm gonna explain that expression. It's nasty. It's extra nasty. That's
The bitters do not help at all.
No.
Not at all.
citrusy and bitter.
No.
And it just ruins one of my favorite beers entirely.
Oh.
So Curtis, what would you rank this?
Wow, -1. It doesn't. It's not good. There's no.
That is-
No, it's not. No. So like, there's like the tomato, and then the bitterness from the IPA is just so strong, and it sits on like what it does to the palate with this the tomato.
It's
Not. No. It's not good. It doesn't do it.
I mean, maybe if you added some beans and beef, you'd make a decent taco, maybe. Like boil this down and you make taco sauce, but as a drink, no.
What do you rank it, Cody?
I give it a fat 0.
It's easily the worst one we've drank today.
Yep, that passes the Idis fruit.
Fruit, yes.
Yeah.
The fruitiness was confusing. I could actually kind of like drink. This one is just not okay.
And it makes me mad because it ruins a beer I really like.
I do love the
It
delicious.
took a really
IPA,
good beer and made it extra bad.
So bad.
So should I even ask if it will Michelada?
No, it will not Michelada. You do not need to think about it. Do not consider this Michelada. Do not look at this Michelada. It does not exist.
I think what that tells us is that while Radlers got better with like the bitterness and that extra cool fruitiness, Micheladas need
Get
to
much
go
worse.
they need to stay away from
Maybe
the bitter.
stoot or sour is the answer.
Maybe, and we'll find out next with stouts and sours to see if that gets any better.
So doing Lone Tree Pineapple Sour. Let's get into this.
I gotta tell you, aromatically though, I can pick it up. It's back here, like very smell. I can pick up like pineapple, fruit,
and
tropical fruit.
Yeah, when you get a little closer, you get the tomato.
But it's not as bad. I don't know. It's not off-putting yet. I have hope. I have hope.
Know.
It doesn't smell that bad. You can pick up some of the pineapple.
Is barbecue sauce like?
Okay, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Sort of barbecue sauce scented.
But it's not bad. It's not. It's not
It's
negative.
not the worst
Let's
thing.
say it that way.
But I don't usually drink barbecue sauce.
I may have to go back and taste that a couple of times. It's such a radical change.
It makes it very pickly.
Yeah, there we go.
It's like drinking pickle juice that somebody spilled a little tomato in.
Which is probably why I'm not immediately like turned off by it, because I used to drink pickle juice. Mm-hmm. I still enjoy pickle juice. Pickles in general, they're delicious.
Pickles are good, but no.
It's not as bad though. So I mean,
It could be a lot worse.
It's not a -1. It's not a 0.
It could be a lot worse, but it is very, very pickly. It is very pickly with a distinct note of tomato floating through the whole thing.
The sour doesn't really help too much, other than I think pump up.
I think that's
like,
where the
acidic,
pickly flavor comes through. Is the sour just turned into pickle?
Yeah, so like you wouldn't have to add like a pickle, obviously, or like olives or something like that.
Yeah.
I think
It is also sort of enhancing the saltiness, I think.
very salty. Yeah,
This tastes
very
more
salty.
salty than previous ones.
So you got to take it from the perspective
Of
a Bloody Mary drinker, right? Like, is it taking away, or adding to, or neutral?
I think it's adding to. I think this is actually making it better than it was if I like Bloody Marys. Especially if you're on the picklier side of your Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
And I've seen some people who are like, oh yeah, so you got pickle juice and pickles, and they pickle the shit out of their Bloody Marys.
I feel like it needs pepper.
Maybe a little. Yeah.
Like a little,
I'd say
like a
sprinkle of
earthy black
could help.
pepper kind of thing. Like bring that down. I think it would kind of bring the high notes, like give it like a base to land on.
Earthiness, yeah.
You know. So based on that, the fact that I'm not like jumping up and down and like screaming on that, yeah. Let's go to the beer. I'm gonna give this one 6.
Yeah, it's 6. 6 sounds about right.
It's better.
It's better.
It's
yeah.
better.
It's not nearly as bad as a lot of the other ones.
No.
It's almost drinkable.
Yep.
From the point of view of someone who drinks them, it's probably actually pretty good.
You might, yeah. I mean, with the right mixers, with a little like hot sauce, like
sprinkle a little
Tabasco, a
pepper.
little pepper on there.
Ooh, a paprika, like a smoked
Smoky
paprika might be the right answer.
You know,
but
this could bring this like within a realm of like almost drinkable, right? So, and the pineapple's lost like
Gone.
entirely.
Pineapple's gone.
There's no fruitiness whatsoever. Like if it does, it's lost in the sweetness of the pineapple or of the tomato, right? So like the sour like bumps of vinegar,
Yeah.
and the pineapple is lost in tomato land.
Yep.
So
Will it? Will it Michelada?
Yeah, I think it's the first one we're really going to say firmly yes.
I agree. I think this one Micheladas. That's our first one. Let's take that up. That's a note. Ding. First
One.
Michelada. Someone done shit in my Clamato juice.
No, this is heirloom Clamato juice.
Heirloom is specialty.
Yeah. Have you ever seen those little lumpy heirloom tomatoes that kind of got that
They got,
dark
like,
reddish,
purpley
purpley
color
color to them? That reminds me of an heirloom tomato. Does it smell like an heirloom tomato?
It smelled like coffee. It smelled like coffee grounds, honestly. No, it doesn't smell like coffee. It smelled like coffee grounds. Like after you've done cooked the coffee, and you got just the coffee grounds, and they've been hanging outside.
Compost heap.
Compost teepee.
It's compost heap.
Like hanging out.
It smells
in the
like
sun.
old coffee grounds and a tomato that's been on the street a little too long.
Yeah. So the aromatics, I'm gonna say, do not give me high hopes for the flavors. What do we got, Cody? Yeah.
I want to die. That is. That is worse than the stone.
Can I opt out?
No, you fucking didn't like it. That was. It was up front of soggy old coffee grounds, and then overly salted tomato into sour.
So Cody, what would you rank it?
I'm gonna have to sip it again to really fully encapsulate what's going on here.
Nope. I'm gonna disagree with you on this one. I think while the coffee, it's not good, right? The compost heap definitely does not put you in the right mind for it. The saltiness is significantly reduced because of the
That is
bitter
true.
coffee.
It's
This
much
is the
less
first
salty.
one that I feel like it's really taken away from the pickly, from the real like heavy clam juice
Flavor.
like the saltiness of what's going on. It's mild. It's brought it down. Brought it way down, earthy, real low tone. I'm not saying it's great, right? I'm not saying it's great, but I am gonna go and say that like you got to take this from the Bloody Mary perspective, right? And this is a bit different. It's a different taste. I grant that it's not.
But the coffee, like the old coffee ground flavor, is so strong. Like,
Yes.
this just tastes like I made coffee a few days ago, and then came back and was like, I'm just gonna chew on that old soggy filter for a little bit. Just
I agree. I think, but if maybe you got like a good coffee stout, like one that like didn't taste like coffee grounds, or I mean, I don't know if this one tastes like coffee grounds by
It does.
itself.
It's not a very good beer by the first place.
Okay. So like we've had coffee stouts that are like phenomenal coffee stouts. So it gives me hope that like maybe if you got like a stout
good
that
coffee
had
stout?
like some more coffee tones to it, that might help like balance the whole mixture.
I
out a
will
little
say
more.
that some of the like darker notes do help ground it. So maybe it's not as bad as the Stone Delicious one. Upon
No.
second consideration, it's not as bad as the Stone Delicious mix because the darker notes of it do sort of pull back on the salt. Like you said, it grounds it a little, gives it a bit of earthiness. I think without that coffee flavor, it might be better. Well, not it might. It would definitely be better without the old coffee
like
ground
maybe
flavor.
just a pure stout then.
I think yeah, maybe like
just
a pure stout might be the right answer.
might
for
help
this
to
one.
kind of like guide that in the right direction.
Maybe one that leans even a little bit on the side of being too robust, like one that's a little
Too roasty?
like
too roasty.
real roasty.
Like get one of those ones that's a little
burnt.
too roasty and mix it in here, and that burned flavor might kind of bring down the salt, kind of
I
give
could
it.
see that.
I could see that mixing
Yeah.
together and making something that works. Yes.
Right, so let's go to the beer. I'm gonna give this one a 4.
I'm gonna go 3. The coffee
Really?
ground flavor just
Well,
really
so, like-
hurts it here.
Yeah.
Like personally, because I really like coffee, so if you make a good coffee flavored thing, I really enjoy it. And the bad coffee really stands out to me as just being really bad.
But I think it has potential in the
has-
sense that you
stouts
could
have
go.
potential.
Yeah, the stouts. Stouts could be a really
Proper
interesting Michelada.
It's time for the one we always do, the copper kettle or some form of copper alloy kettle, Mexican style hot chocolate stout.
Boom! Here it is. I actually have higher hopes for this because of the spiciness, maybe, and the fact that we had the stoutness.
I'm just worried about the chocolate. The
Oh.
chocolate just might not play well here.
Yeah,
visually, this is the first one where the beer definitely took over. It is almost just pure black.
Copper Kettle wins.
Copper kettle wins. It's black.
It beat it out.
The only thing I'm gonna give it is it's a little murkier than the copper. Like copper kettle is fairly clear
It
black.
lightens it up
This is
just
a murky
little
black.
bit. Yeah.
Aromatically, you can smell a little bit of the cinnamon coming through. But I think that's about it. That's all. Maybe a hint of spice.
A little tomato, spicy, but
I
it's
smell
like
the cinnamon and I smell the tomato.
unlike where in the previous ones, tomato has been like the dominant, and you got to taste. You smell a little bit of. This one's like spicy cinnamon with some tomato.
And a hint of something like a
with a little
cayenne-ish.
Yeah,
I think the cayenne is coming through here, so maybe that could be a good sign.
I don't know. I got hopes for this one. I got hopes. We got a good reaction, bad reaction.
It's very complex. Yeah, it's. I don't think it's combining really. It's. They're fighting each other. You got tomatoes and chocolate stout going to war here in this one. The chocolate stout is holding on to its flavors really strongly, and you can taste them on one track. And then on the other side, you got Clamato.
Yeah. I think fighting is the right terminology here. It's not that they don't necessarily like clash in the sense of like disgusting. I mean, they're not helping.
They're just not mixing together at all.
Yeah, it's like
you get
two
them in waves, just separately.
Yeah, completely separate drinks where it's like chocolate, Mexican, bam, tomato, bam, spicy. Yeah, a little spicy and vinegar. And you're like, oh, okay, that's not, you're like, gonna kind of come together, and you're like, almost. And then it's like, chocolate, and you're like, oh, sweet chocolate. Now you're like, tomato, bam, you're like,
It's not mixing.
Yeah.
It's almost it's almost
completely
oil
separate
and vinegar.
drinks.
They're not mixing at all. They taste like two separate drinks in one cup.
Yes. Yeah,
Two drinks in one
that's
cup.
the best. If you don't get that reference, go Google it. Let's go to the beer. I'm gonna give this one a true neutral 5.
Same here, 5. You can taste the good beer that was on one side, and you can taste the Clamato on the other. The issue, they just don't mix.
No.
So will Copper Kettle's Mexican style chocolate stout Michelada?
No.
So thanks again for showing up. Hopefully you enjoyed our Will It. Head over to our YouTube channel, like, subscribe, ring that bell, check us out. It means a lot to us. Thanks so much.
And just remember, tasty.
Not tasty. Stay away from those IPAs and the pale ales. They don't Michelada very well.
Michelada, your pineapple sour apparently, and maybe an obsidian dark stout, something in there.
Right?
This has been Engineers Talking About Beers.
Cheers. Micheladas.
Will it Michelada? Right. But otherwise, those are not terrible. It's just weird. You're like, you want refreshing, and then you get salty and smoky and.
All right, so this is
This fruit.
I Just Fruit from Horse and Dragon.
This fruit. This fruit. This fruit.
I think it's more dispute.
This fruit.
This fruit.
This fruit.
Try to remember to keep them shorter because there's a lot of these.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, Curtis. Oh, you didn't give Liz a chance to taste it.
I'm not going to taste it.
She wanted to taste the beefy ramen and ketchup pineapple.
Why did you drink it, you freak?
He wanted to punish himself, I guess.
Apparently, I didn't realize I married a masochist. Oh, that's
That was I like beef ramen. I don't like beef ramen with ketchup pineapple.
Liquid beef ramen.
No bueno.
I have hope for the next one. Moving on. Chug, 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 chug.
Ooh, that one
Oh,
foamed a
foamy.
little.
Yeah. That one wasn't so terrible that I had to pour it out, but it was definitely. There were much happier. The Asahi by far so far has been the best.
The 4 is the best one.
It's no worse than Mom's morning breakfast shakes.
Oh, that has to go in the outtakes.
That's right. Once you've had those, you can drink basically anything.
Yep.
Well, that's because
Is it like glue in a glass?
I was gonna say I can pour this out at least. I don't have to break out the butter knife to get through the jelly layer on the top to pour it out.
Oh, hold up.
Well, while you're messing with your nose, I'm gonna take a sniff.
Alright, good. Alright, Derek, you taste it now.
Fuck that.
You wanted us to do this, you drink it.
Production assistant says, fuck that. Not doing it. Can't make
Like,
me.
you gotta taste it.
I do not.
Stuff is.
This is me dancing in the rain. I like pina coladas.
No, I each time we've gone back, each time I've had to go like redo our
them,
videos.
they get smoother and
they
faster.
get better and smoother. Like we go
This
into
is
it.
funny because it like
And I like-
completely nukes the color. This one you gotta
Yeah.
spend a minute on the visual.
I like watching. Like when I watch through them, you can tell which ones that we've
Can
done
you even
multiple
tell it
times.
put Clamato juice in it?
Yes, a little
Slightly,
bit
because it's
a
more
little cloudy,
ooky and cloudy than it was. Like, usually they make a very nice clear black, and now it's more of a ooky, cloudy brown.
Ooky.
It's ooky.
Is that a Ferengi term?
No.
It is.